This is the Coach's Wife Life podcast. I'm Kristen Eargle, your host, a former TV sports reporter and fellow college football coach's wife. I'll go one-on-one with the strong women who are the backbone of college athletics and athletics of all levels. And now, Coach's Wife Life.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
Hey there, I'm Kristen Eargle, and we have an exciting podcast ahead. But first I want to talk about something we all know way too much about, moving. Just the thought of that can bring an unsettling emotion. Well, I found a team that can take that load off your plate. It's D1 Relocation. This group can do it all. They can organize your move, coordinate with a moving company, and a trusted real estate agent. They can actually vet key household partners such as schools, insurance agents, physicians in the area. They can even help set up your Wi-Fi and water. It's incredible. So I've come to know this team, which is actually founded by a coach's wife. I think you should check it out, whether you're looking to move now or in the future. It's d1relocation.com. Now on to our awesome podcast. Well, I am so thrilled to bring Sam Walton on the podcast. Sam is the wife of Coach Tim Walton, head softball coach for the Florida Gators. Thank you so much for being a part of us.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is neat.
I am fangirling a little bit. You are in Oklahoma right now for the Women's College World Series. As we're recording this, we're recording on a Friday. This airs, I believe, on a Sunday. And so you just won last night. So when I ask you to describe yourself on game day in 3 words, that was last night with a 1-0 win.
That was last night. I know, and I'm glad you reminded me what day it is because it's been a whirlwind since we got here. But yeah, yesterday I was pretty good. I wrote a couple of notes down and said, sometimes I'm the hot mess express. Just, with all the butterflies. I was able to be in the dugout for the SEC tournament. And I'd never done that before. And just watching all the girls, they're never nervous. They're having fun. They're cheering, they're enjoying, they're talking. I said, I need to be in here at all times because you guys make it easy to just sit and watch the game. So I was pretty decent yesterday, but we did have a good win. So that was really nice.
All right. And describe Coach on game day. What's he like?
Yeah. Cool, calm, collected. He's ready. He's a big believer in preparation. So when it comes to game days, he's just like, hey, here we go. I mean, we're either going to do it or we're not, but he just makes sure they're prepared and he's ready to go. So I envy him too.
I know. So the team is really reflecting the culture that he has built. Cool under pressure. I love it. All right. I want to name a few stats. They are impressive. I saw a new one last night that said he was the second fastest coach to reach 1,000 wins, and that'll get you a lot of places. 18 regional appearances, at least, and maybe wrong, 5 SEC championships, 12 College World Series appearances, 2 national titles.
Yes.
I have to ask, and there's so many players. We could go on and on and on. Coaching staff of the year. I believe there's at least 43 plus All-Americans, probably 50 right now. These stats do love it. And so it's incredible to me the amount of success he's had right there for the Florida Gators. Why has his formula worked?
Well, I'm proud. He's a hard worker. I think probably the thing that impresses me most is his head is not on a swivel. He's, the task at hand is what he's ready to do. He's not looking at, oh, another program's doing this, or, oh, we should be doing this. And, sometimes I'm guilty of that. I'll say, oh, look on social media, they're doing this. And he said, hey, we're worried about our program. Let's focus on our program. And he's talented. He's uber organized. But he just gets the girls focused in and they work hard when they're on the field. And, it's just a reflection of some of the girls that he's brought in and the good recruiting and just everybody buying into the process. And it works a lot of the time.
It definitely does. Okay, so tell me about you. Where did you grow up? Did you ever envision your life as a coach's wife? And I will say you were a college athlete yourself.
Yes. So I grew up here in Oklahoma. basketball. I played basketball in high school, a little bit of tennis in high school. Was fortunate enough to be recruited to play college basketball. Um, and fortunate enough to play in the NCAA tournament, although we lost in the first round to the eventual national champions that year. So that was an extremely unbelievable experience. Got to play with my sister 2 years in college, and I know that made my parents very proud.
Yes.
Um, but Tim and I met at Oral Roberts University. He was coaching baseball at the time, and I was finishing my basketball career in education. And so when we envisioned our lives, I think we thought, I'll be a high school basketball coach. He'll be a high school baseball coach, and we'll live happily ever after. And he got the call from a friend that said, "Hey, there's an opening at Oklahoma." That was his alma mater. He played baseball at Oklahoma for an assistant softball coach. And he said, "Well, I don't know that I know a lot about softball, but I'll go down and interview for this." He got the job. And one of the funniest things he's ever said to me is, I said, "Hey, so how's everything going?" And I didn't play softball. Maybe rec ball. We didn't have fast pitch softball in my town. But I said, "So how's softball?" And he said, "Well, there's two things. When the pitchers throw the ball, I have to back way up. I can't see where that ball's coming out of because he's used to playing catch with a baseball." And he said, "And the second thing is, Sam, girls don't stop talking." And I said, "Yeah, welcome to it. I mean, that's what we do, in practice." But I think, and I'll round this out. He said, "But girls work way harder than boys do." And that's one thing that I just love. I love that he recognized. I love that he's also compared just watching me play, because he got to watch me play, to seeing how I did things, to see how his girls do things. And just, I think he was able to blossom in a sport to where, let's be honest, there's a lot of men that say, "Well, that's a girl sport," or "I don't know how he works with girls." And I think, well, I mean, you forget you have a mom, you might have a sister, you probably have a wife, you might have a daughter, and that's never been an issue for Tim. I mean, it's a female, it doesn't matter. He still does a great job within that capacity. So I'm proud. It makes me very proud.
This is so fascinating. I just love this. Okay, so now you have children of your own. Tell me ages, where they are, what they're doing.
So quick caveat, I told someone recently, they said, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm a stay-at-home mom." And they said, "Well, what are your kids' ages?" And I said, "Oh, 24, 21, and 18. They said, "Well, I think you've aged out of the stay-at-home mom." So one of my friends said, "Well, just say you run a nonprofit out of your house, because being a mom is definitely a nonprofit. You're constantly passing out and never, really getting anything for it." But anyway, my oldest played baseball in college, and he is fortunate enough to play. He's playing some independent baseball right now for a team out of Ottawa, Canada. He's currently, he was just in the States for their little league. And it's so sad. He wants to be here so badly. This is the first time we've ever done this without him, and he has to watch from afar. So I hate that he can't be here, because he truly loves it. My daughter is 21. She graduated at the University of Florida back in the fall, and she's currently in one grad program and will start another grad program at Florida in January. She works in the athletic department, so she's like her dad. She's on it. She works hard. She's so great with the athletes, and she's friends with the team. She's in that perfect age where she can be friends with the kids, and it works really well. And then my youngest, today is actually graduation day for him, and we're missing to be here at the World Series.
Oh my
So yeah,
that's not the coaching life.
it's the epitome of the whole coaching life. And I said, "Hey, just take some pictures with your cap and gown with the team, and I think that will sum up, what this year has been." And of course, the kids, they're, oh, and I'll have to say he also just committed to play basketball at our local junior college. So he gets to play in college as well. So I'm very proud. The kids are great. They make me proud. They do a
I
good
love
job.
it. I love
Yeah.
it. Aspiring children. Okay, so you're sitting in Oklahoma because you're at the College World Series, and you've had a lot of success, an incredible amount of success in your family, but not every day you're on the very top of the world. So can you take me back to some of those days that were a little bit harder? What would you say some of the toughest adversity you faced, and how did you get over that? What did you rely on to get through those moments?
Yeah, adversity is kind of a funny thing. I think it comes in many forms. So, there might be obvious adversities. Sometimes you're dealing with uh, something no one knows about, or it's funny. One of the biggest adversities that we face, and I know this might sound trivial, is losing. It's winning so much. You throw a loss or two or three in there, and you have to learn how to deal with expectations. And I think uh, I think one of the biggest adversities for me personally is understanding that no matter what Tim does, no matter what I do, there are going to be people that aren't fans. And I guess I have a little bit of a tender heart with that because I see how he works so hard and he tries to do the best and I try to do the best. And it takes me back to a little anecdote. I was working one summer in college waiting tables, and I had a big table. It was pretty busy evening, and I did the best I could. I was as kind as I could be and did the best I could. And that table didn't leave me a tip and told my boss I was the worst waitress they'd ever had. And I was crushed. I thought, I don't understand what happened. I did the best that I could, and I just had to, keep going on with my evening. And two tables later, I did the exact same thing. I was kind, I was polite, I worked hard, and that table told me, you're the best waitress we've ever had. And I thought that has to go down as some kind of a lesson to know, no matter how hard you work, you're going to have people that aren't fans. So I think at the end of the day, as far as any of the adversity I feel, we try to have um, when you lay your head on the pillow, if you've done everything you can that day, that week, to do the right thing, and you can get a good night's sleep, you can't help what happens. You can't help what other people think, how other people feel. I can't win it all, but if I know I'm doing the right thing, then that kind of helps me with any adversity that I'm feeling to say, hey, we got to wake up. Tomorrow's a new day. Let's just get after it. So that's, that's kind of some of the things I think about.
That's true. We can't base our self-worth on the opinions of others. And that's so easy to do in this profession because
It's
of wins,
very easy to
losses.
do.
We're easily
Yes.
measured. It's very
Yes.
simple, but it's
Yes.
so hard to separate from that. But that's wisdom there because there's no way to meet everyone's expectations at all times.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is true. And one of my favorite stories is we are literally 3 outs from a World Series berth at home. We're playing a great game. I think Tim called for maybe he didn't. I think this was the bottom of the 6th. We're up maybe 3-1, and he tried to hit with a runner on first, and he didn't bunt. And someone stood up and said, "This guy's the worst coach of all time." Just about 5 seats from me. I said, we're literally 3 outs from a World Series, and we ended up getting the 3 outs to go to the World Series. And it made me laugh at that point because I thought, again, you can never please everyone. But if we're trying our best just to be good humans, do the best that you can. That's really what it all boils down to, and loving each other, and supporting each other. And as a family, I think we do that well. So those are ways to rise above any of that kind of adversity that you might feel.
Do you have the family group text? I mean, just your family
Yes, we
encouragement
do.
or those comments that like you can't tell
Encouragement,
anyone else?
jokes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get a little, agitated, and we will say something goofy to build each other up. Yeah, that's definitely something that happens in our family. I love it. I love it. I get a big kick out of it. And after that win last night, the kids just, of course, my son, he's up in Canada, and we're not all together because Tim's busy interviews, and everyone's staying at different places, but we had a good little family chat last night. It cracked me up, but it's nice because everyone's very supportive.
You've been a coach's wife for quite a while and a head coach's wife for a long time. And we talk about on this podcast a lot how the head coach's wife can really set a tone. So some of those things that you've tried to do to kind of reach out to the fellow wives on your staff, what's been successful for you?
This is I read this question, and started thinking about things. I think one of the things that, and I could do a better job. Obviously, you're always thinking of ways you can improve. I think I got really into all of my kids and taking care of all of my kids. So I am trying to be better about reaching out and making sure everybody's taken care of. I also, my husband has females on staff, so we've got also have husbands.
Mhm.
I think, but at the end of the day, I go back to in school, I was an education major, and one of the things that they said, as a new teacher, is to avoid the teacher's lounge, because that's a place where you might go in having a great day and someone say something that's going to make you see a student in a different light. Um, and I kind of take that approach, for just being positive, because there's times on a staff where you might have three wives, which means you might have the odd man out. You have There's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a power play, but there's a hierarchy,
For sure.
and I don't want that to affect anything. I want to stay away from any negativity, because again, with a loss, one coach's wife could approach and say, yeah, what about the hitting coach, or what about the pitching coach? Those are things I want to stay away from. We just have to stay positive. And no one's perfect. It could be my husband at some point. It could be one of the girls has a bad game. But I want to stay out of that whole teacher's lounge type situation where we're talking shop, and we need to stay above board, stay positive at all times, and just believe in the path that we're on. And I think that's probably helped me as much as possible. So
Absolutely. And it helps with the culture. Everything plays a part to me when every single person that touches that organization is responsible for, to me, the success of it as well. And watching what we
oh
say. I mean, because
yeah,
what we
it's a,
say, what we think is at home or whatever, it bleeds into that. And I feel like that
absolutely.
what you have going on right now is you've been very conscious of your culture, of making sure it's positive and
Yeah,
affirming, to the
yeah,
coaching staff, to the girls. That's incredible. Now, when I
yeah.
think about the level of success, and I don't know, I've interviewed a lot of successful people on this podcast in other life, and I just am so impressed with what's going on right here with what you have. 1,000+ wins is pretty impressive. I have to think about, there's discipline going on at your house. There's priorities that you're making together, or just personally, that is playing a part in some of this, that you're able to rise above. Can you identify some of those things that you feel like maybe are paying off that you personally do, as a family?
Um, Again, I think it's just the positivity. I think having each other's backs no matter what's going on. And we're not perfect. I mean, we can have a gripe session at the house and complain about this and that and this and that. We just have to, get that off our chest and say, yeah, but moving forward, these are the things we need. I might pull the kids aside and say, hey, dad needs us to be really positive right now. If things aren't great, you might be upset about this or that, but at the end of the day, trust in the process. And my family is, they're really into this. They have been since they were little. This is their, you don't want to say it's their lives, but it's their lives. This is, they identify with this. They are so proud. They are ride or die for their dad and those girls. And but emotion, it can be emotional at times. And so I think those are just the things that that I try my best to do a good job of is my daughter has accused me of being toxically positive before. Mom, you have toxic positivity. And I said, well, okay, yes, maybe sometimes, but sometimes that's a good thing. You don't want to get too low, but we also don't get too high.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm proud of our family too. Is after a good win, we give each other a hug and say, "Hey, that was great," and we move on with our day. And I think not bringing any of that home with us a lot is nice. As much as we all want it and it is kind of so much ingrained in our lives it's not I don't feel like that's all who we are. We can leave it at the field and be able to just be a family, a normal family, and talk about other things at home. So I really appreciate that about our family.
And how do you stay grounded? Because not every day you feel positive, but you are making certain that your family has that choosing joy mentality. What do you do personally to kind of stay steady?
I this is I I don't it's kind of embarrassing, but we're pretty just normally a pretty just easy going happy family. I don't really have I think people probably think, oh gosh, she's just full of it, but Tim does such a great job of not bringing it home. We he's so good. We've been able to be together for so many of the kids games, together for for instance this past basketball season for my youngest who's a senior. He had a fantastic season. Their little team had a fantastic season, and my entire family was at all but two games. Even my 24-year-old son couldn't wait to get to the game. My daughter would come over from campus, couldn't wait to get to the game. Um, those were things that we talked about more, I feel like more than maybe Gator softball. We're a family first. And that just happens to be what Tim does. And again, yes, we live that, but I'm just really proud of just, we have a great neighborhood. We have a great set of friends. That's not the first thing people ask me when I go out to lunch, oh, how's Gator softball? I mean, they might bring it up once in a while, but that's not, I just feel like we're grounded in other ways, that knowing that Tim works hard, knowing that he puts a good product out on the field and with all these great girls is kind of an icing on the cake thing for us. But on a normal day-to-day basis, we just try to live right and just enjoy each other.
Okay, so you played college basketball and your husband played college baseball. You're coaching right now and you have raised some athletes. And I have some younger athletes in my family. So speak into my life, Sam, and talk to me about any advice you have on. Right now, my daughter's playing 12U softball. It's our life. We love
Mhm.
every second of it. There is no sport.
I love
I am obsessed. She has me watching every pitch of every single one of these
Oh,
games.
sweet pea.
I love
I
it.
love it.
But I think if you could share with me and the listeners about raising our kids, as there's a lot of pressure sometimes because they
Sure.
know, right? They know that
Yeah.
you played. They know that dad played.
Yeah.
They know you're very involved. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, do you have any thoughts on that as I will navigate this process for the next few years?
Just staying within your family, uh, loving your kiddos. Um, I know that early on, and I think motherhood, you enjoy the times you can get together with other moms. You're trying to take from other moms what you can about encouragement, about paths to take. Um, and I think I got caught up in, oh, well, they're doing this and their kids playing on this team. And oh my goodness, if we don't do this. And I finally just said, that's enough. Like I have to be in this for what's best for my kids. And the second I decided to just enjoy every, my son is a pitcher. Um, so, and he played basketball in high school, and I was so worried about, oh, what about this kid, and he's doing well. And it's not about bringing other kids down, but you're worried about the progress of your own child.
For
And
sure.
I thought, you know what, why am I doing that? Let me watch and see what he does well. Let me I honestly just stopped. I watched the game, obviously, but I'm thrilled to watch what he did. And he just say, hey, great job after the game. Here are a couple of things I saw, but I'm really proud of you. And one of the things I tell the kids before every single game is, hey, be a good teammate. You're never going to regret being a good teammate. You might not score 20 points tonight. It might be, you might have a bad foul called on you that's not a foul. But at the end of the day, if you can be a good teammate, that'll never go away. And I know I sound like Pollyanna. I really do feel like this. I really believe this. And just the comparison factor, you just can't compare. The Lord gave the kids that we have, and my son, he's a pitcher. He's a great pitcher. I've seen him strike out former major leaguers before in his little league, right? Can he throw 100? He cannot throw 100, and that's okay. He's good at what he can do, and I think it's about perspective. And Tim does a really good job of that too, about putting our kids in perspective. And I might get mad about this or that, and he'll say, hey, we got to talk about what they can do. And I think that probably goes to how well he does in his coaching. Instead of focusing on one of his players that may not have the speed, he'll say, okay, well, they don't have the speed, but they have the hands to get this done. Or let's not make them a home run hitter if they're the best bunter on the team. There are just things that you just have to find out and cultivate the things that they're good at, and then just enjoy every second, because it goes so fast. And I know people tell you that it goes so fast. And I remember being in your shoes when we played all the little baseball tournaments, and you pull your wagon in, and you've got parents that have the walk-up songs and the coolers, and your other kids might say, hey, we want to go play at the playground, and you say, well, we're in the middle of a game right now, but just enjoy every second of it. And just concentrate on what they're doing well, and just love them for that.
There's so much truth right there. I love that. I'm going to watch this podcast for myself over and over. This is so good. This is so good. Now talk about, I think there's two areas I want to go into, which is just the incredible amount of impact we have as coaches and wives into these student athletes. And you talked about your daughter being able to be kind of the age that's close to their age and connecting with that. Now, that's probably neat to see her move into that age as well. How, over the years, what are some of the ways that you've been able to connect with the softball players? It's unique that they are women, that you get to be around other women, which is really, really cool. My husband coaches football, so it's a little bit different dynamic,
Sure.
And so for you, what's been kind of the joy of that side of it?
Oh, well, I mean, they're great girls. That. Now, I will say one of the things I try to make sure I do, and I have to remember, I don't know what happened at practice, and they might be mad at my husband. I know that. I was a student athlete. I got mad at my coach sometimes. So I try not to tread too much on them while they're players. I have, I try to ensure that I love on them on a normal daily basis. I don't ever want to give the impression that just because you hit that game-winning home run that I love you even more. I really truly do love all these girls, and I want to make sure that they know, no matter if they hit the home run, no matter if they strike out, I love them the same. I have now, I feel like sometimes I don't have a lot to bring to the table except, just loving on them when I can. I have brought in a little craft day that I'll bring in. And I talked to some friends and they said, Sam, you're basically doing preschool crafts with these girls. And I said, yes, I am. And they love every second of it.
Yes, they do.
Paper plate, jack-o'-lanterns, hand turkeys, just anything around the holidays, just to bring a little something into their lives that takes their mind off of school, off of softball, just a little time that we can spend together. And that's been a lot of fun. Probably my biggest reward though is when they come back. I feel like now I have a lot of great friends that are former players, and to see them, even last night we had former players show up, and it really is the highlight for me, because the ones that want to come back and I get to hug on them, they have kids, husbands, I get to kind of be that extra mom for them, or even friends. I love when they come back. There's just nothing better for me. That's what I tell them now. I love you now, but as soon as you finish playing, then all bets are off. We can go out to lunch. We can come up and watch a game with me. We can have a girl chat. We can do all these things that I want to tread a little lightly while they're here, love on them, but then be able to really throw my arms around them and have friends for life. So those are some ways I always think about that. How can I be more impactful? I could probably do a little bit better job, and I know raising my own kids sometimes gets in the way of spending a lot of time with them, but I do truly just love just trying to show them love and show them that no matter what, they're my girls.
I love that. Being intentional when
Yeah.
you do have those moments, because it does take so much to raise our children as well, and to make
Yeah.
sure that they know they are chosen, that they have a parent that's able to spend more time, because let's face it, I mean, our husbands are gone so much.
Yeah.
They need to know that they're valued as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the balance there can be a little bit tough. There's something I wanted to ask you about leadership. Your husband is a leader in this industry, and what he's accomplished is incredible. Somebody saw this early on, that he was capable of this. So do you remember the first person that gave him the opportunity at leadership, and how do you think he proved that he was ready to be a head coach and to run and for it to play out like this?
Yeah. Well, I know that when he finished playing pro ball and he came back and was hired on at Oral Roberts as a grad assistant, and that's where I met him. I know the coach there gave him a lot of responsibilities. So that's how, meeting him, to know that he's not only one of the big guys that works on the field, sets up practice, runs the guys in the morning, does a lot of those things. Well, I was impressed because he really took that seriously. So that coach hired him, and then when Patty Gasso hired him to be an assistant at Oklahoma, and kind of gave him the hitters, and you kind of see how things start to work. That they won the national championship in 2000, and had a really good run there for a few years. I guess, the athletic directors over at Wichita State to hire him as a head coach. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some athletic directors that didn't hire him that I might still hold a little bit of a grudge against, because I think, how didn't you see this? I feel like I saw it. But again, I'm a big believer in paths. The Lord will put you where you need to be at the time you need to be there. And it's all worked out great. But yeah, no, they're just the people that do see that, in each one of us, that put you in that position. You just have to be thankful and say, well, they saw it, and I'm thankful they did. And it's just catapulted his career for them to see a leader and hire him as his first coaching job. And then Jeremy Foley hired Tim here at University of Florida, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
Yeah, it's been an incredible ride and still playing out. You play tomorrow. I'm nervous for you already.
Yeah.
How do you maintain balance in the life that doesn't slow down? Your seasons are longer than ours. I mean, than football. You have fall ball too. I mean, there's how do you make sure your stamina's up? Or do you still run? I mean, you're a former athlete. What do you do?
Yeah, I try to get in the gym at least 3 times a week, get on the treadmill. I used to like to run a lot more than I do now, but I don't get out there as much. I play some tennis. That's where I get my competitive edge.
Yes.
I get to be competitive on the court and, come home with stories about, I can't believe this happened, or Tim, you should have seen this shot. And that kind of fuels me. But yeah, just staying active. And I don't know about that though, with football coaches' wives, you guys might get 2 weeks out of the whole year where you've got a little bit of time.
Yes,
that's
it's coming up.
you guys.
It's coming up for us. We're on the countdown.
Yeah, you guys really go through the ringer with no time off. And I know Tim, he's about to embark on coaching the women's national team. We get to go over to Italy. That's where they're playing the national or the world championships. So that's been a nice addition, but it also, it's from one coaching job to the next. And I don't know. I just try to hang in there and just try to be energetic for everybody, I guess.
You're doing a phenomenal job. Last 2 questions for you. What has the game of softball meant to your life?
Oh my goodness. So much. And again, it kind of, I don't want to say came out of left field, but it was just not something that I thought, I mean, again, we thought baseball for him, basketball for me. And then when softball came into the picture, it's just given us so many things, so many good relationships, so many good experiences and memories. And, when Tim did get that 1,000th win, we were all able to video a little something for him, just to say, how proud we are of him. And sometimes I think about how many people, a lot of those wins, how many people have been happy for those wins across the country. You just don't know how many people that impacts. And I might get texts of people, where I was when she hit the home run to send you guys here. And you just think, what? Sometimes when I'm at the game, I think only a few of us are the people in the stands. That's probably all. But they're just the impact has been so great. And it just makes me so proud. And I'm just thankful that people are fans and that the girls work hard and that we've been able to have so many good memories. So softball has just given us a lot, and I'm very thankful.
Last question. What do you think's most rewarding aspect to you about being specifically a coach's wife?
Again, the relationship with the girls. That's just getting to see them grow. And when they come back, just being able to, be friends with a bunch with so many girls that you just I just can't explain some of the coolest girls I've ever met. There's a couple of girls right now I say, when I come back in another life, I want to be you. Just seeing we've got doctors, lots of lawyers, lots of moms, and they're as much an inspiration to me. But I think just and the athletic department relationships, I've had so many good interactions with coaches and athletic directors that are in life sometimes you learn. I always thought life was about learning what to do. Sometimes you learn what not to do. And I've had all these people in my path to kind of, mold who I am without them even knowing it. Just learning how to do good things with all the people I come in contact with through the game and everything that, Tim, all his hard work has allowed for us. So.
Fun times. You're
Yeah.
there at the College World Series. Any pregame rituals do you have? Do you do things the same way every time? You do something differently when you're in Oklahoma City?
With all the family that we have here. So my parents live here in Edmond, just north of Oklahoma City. So does my sister and her husband. My husband's parents are from California. If they come in for the World Series, we just have a little tailgate and meet out and just enjoy each other's company. And we're never, we don't take this for granted. We're excited every single time, and winning isn't easy, and we know that. But we just try to have a good time before the games, and so no big rituals, just enjoying each other and getting excited to go watch those Gators.
Awesome. Okay, rapid fire. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Who is the most famous person in your phone?
So I'm going to go with Grant Holloway. He is a 3-time world champion 110-meter hurdler. He was a silver medalist in 2020, and he will be competing hopefully in the Olympics this year. And, I see commercials with him on TV, and I say, hey, I know that guy.
I know that guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know that guy.
What's one item on your bucket list you've checked off and one item left to do?
We went to Ireland and Scotland last summer. So going across the pond was a major bucket. I couldn't believe it. Of all these years in my life, I just thought, I just don't know if I'll ever get there. And we did that. And I thought that was a great bucket list to check off. And probably the other things I want to do are, I love the national parks. We've been to a few. We've been to Zion, Yellowstone, Grand Tetons. It's amazing. I can't believe these places exist in our country, and I want to go see more. And so I have my husband on that now, and so he'll send me videos of some awesome places in the national park system. And I'm like, we're there. We're going. I can't wait.
Who are the last 3 people you have texted?
Fam chat, and that's what it's called, fam chat.
There you go.
My sister, and probably another fam chat that includes my parents, my sister, her husband. So we're always communicating with each other.
Funniest account you follow on Instagram?
So funny is what I love. And I'll preface this by saying, when I send my husband things on Instagram, it's always funny. When he sends me Instagram things, it's how to reorganize a closet, how to clean a shower better. And I'm like, Tim, listen, I want the funny, like send me the funny stuff. So there is a great account. I think it's called The Leighton Show. And this guy compiles all text your teenager might send to you. And it's says, I should have written some of these down, but some of the crazy things, I think it said, when I use postage, if I have to use more than one stamp, do I layer the stamps on the envelope? Like, the teenagers, what they're thinking, I don't even know, but it kills me every single time just to see some of the things he comes across. And I guess people will write in some of the things. I don't know. It kills me every time.
I know. I love it too. Send them to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about your life impresses your kids the most?
Oh my goodness. So, I'm their mom. So they give me a hard time at all times. So I will say I asked them this question. I know it's supposed to be rapid fire. I asked them this question and they said, Mom, pretty much the fact that you raised us with dad being gone all the time and you did all the things, that's pretty impressive. And I said, I will take that. Those compliments are few and far between, and I will take that.
Take it. Love it. Okay.
Yes.
What would be your walk-up song? You have heard so many walk-up songs.
Yes. And I'm glad you asked me this question because I tell everyone my walk-up song would be Cha-Cha Slide. If you've ever been at a game when they say, everybody clap your hands. So I said I would have them announce my name, have them play that clip, and I would get the biggest applause every single time I would come up to bat. So I'm thinking, I'm trying to work that.
You figured out it would get both sides of the crowd.
Yes, that's right. Everyone, no one can ignore that little clip when it comes on over the loudspeakers, for sure.
Not at all. That's awesome. Yeah. You are so fun. Thank you so much for this. Best of luck the next week as you embark on the rest of the College World Series.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
For a replay of this episode or previous episodes, visit coacheswifelife.org and follow us on social media at Coaches Wife Life.